I'm Hannah Holycross, and I am on the regional desk as the public safety and breaking news reporter.
Yes, and so you've done a lot of great reporting on some of the crime cops whatnot around East Lansing, and especially on parking tickets, which if you go to MSU, if you're on campus a lot, you probably know sort of a big deal. And you've done some reporting kind of on the sheer scale of it. So for those not accustomed to attempting to park on this campus, tell us about Pace. In the last year, how big is their ticket writing operation?
Yeah, so it's definitely, especially with the recent price increase in parking tickets, students have kind of almost formed an alliance against Pace because it has become such an issue, especially with the cost. And so there's been there's a big group me called the Pace Spottings, where students will spot Pace to try to get out of parking tickets by logging on to there's this app, the Spot On app, which is how you pay for parking on campus. So you can pay from anywhere. So say that a student reports Pace in a certain lot, then you can quickly go on your phone, type in your license plate, pay for about 30 minutes, because that's how long Pace stays.
I see. So students have been using just like a group chat to do this, kind of like texting each other, Paces here or there. But you wrote a great story this week, or last week, about sort of a more sophisticated model for that, created by an MSU student. It's this app. And so before we get into the app, how it works and whatnot, just tell us about, you talk to the student. How does this person decide to spend so much of his time creating this app that's going to, track the parking police?
So he originally started it almost as kind of a joke with one of his friends for the competition Sparta Hack. And he was inspired because he has a friend who works as a TA in the computer science department. So he works primarily out of the STEM building, which, as most students know, the closest place to park to be in the STEM building is the lot 79, which is the football stadium. And so that is a pay-by-plate lot. And so what his friend said was that having to be at the STEM building for as long as he had to for work, the cost would come out to be too much. And so he would not pay, but then the tickets got so expensive. So, and he got ticket after ticket. So it inspired Kashev, which is the creator of the app, to do that for the competition. And he said the app started out very glitchy, janky, and did it for the competition, which is on a time limit. And then kind of left it for the summer, forgot about it, and then circled back to it the following fall because he had improved his app developing skills and kind of wanted to see where it would go. And now it's kind of taken off. It has over 500 downloads. Wow. And it very much follows the format of the group chat I was talking about, but like you said, more sophisticated, more organized. You get notifications, there's a map, all of that.
And so if you're a user of the app, you kind of have to pay into it, right? By if you spot the police, if you get a ticket, you see it, you tell the app they're here, and then everybody on the app can know where they are at any given time.
So it kind of reminds me of there's the app for the CATA buses on campus, how you kind of report where the buses are so students can track them. It's very similar to that. So you report it into the app, I'm in lot 79 and Pace is here. And so it will send out a notification, and anyone who is parked in lot 79 knows, okay, Pace typically stays in a lot for around 30 minutes ticketing people. So let me log on, pay for the 30 minutes, which is cheaper than paying for, say, I'm in a 2-hour lecture. Let me just pay for the 30 minutes instead of the 2 hours. So it saves money and it prevents you from getting that $20 to $40 ticket.
Yeah. So let's say, you're a student, you're listening to the 1909. And you're thinking, how do I get in on this? How to do this? How do you download the app? How do you set it up, use it? Do you have to pay for it? That kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's available on the App Store, and it's free. Your phone does have to be updated to the latest iOS, though. So, I haven't been able to update it. I've seen a few people in the Pace group chat say they weren't able to download it. So as long as your phone is updated, you can download the app.
I see. So it's available just on the App Store like anything else. And what about, because it seems like thus far it's kind of a pretty simple concept, right? And it works. It's not really that different than the group chat other than kind of the interface and the notifications. But what you talk to the student about is that what he's developing eventually is sort of a more complex version with this machine learning. How is it, in his ideal vision going to work 6 months, a year from now with this new model?
Yeah, so he's trying to gather more long-term data for the app. So instead of just instantaneous, here's where Pace is, I'm reporting it, let's send out this notification, he's trying to gather data on what times are most popular for Pace to be ticketing, what lots get ticketed the most often at what times and days of the week. So then students have that on the app, and they can be like, well, at Wednesday at noon is when they're always at the football stadium, or Thursday they're always here, and this is where the most tickets happen. This is like the time period. So students could know, like, okay, if I have an 8 a.m. class, are they even out at this time?
I see. So instead of just, right now it's sort of purely like a reactive model, right? Like you report Pace's here and everybody knows. It could sort of predict based on Pace's past behavior where you might encounter them in the future. Yeah,
so kind of take that data and almost have a memory to...
Yeah. Well, that's very impressive. And a great story, too, about a cool thing an MSU student is doing. You might be able to get in on if you're listening. But yeah, well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Hannah. It's great to have you.
Perfect. No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.